Peace definitely is possible and achievable. Jesus said in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 9, "Blessed are those, or the peacemakers, because they will be called children of God." It's the very nature of a child of God to love peace, to promote peace, and to be a peacemaker. We need to be trained to be better and more intentional peacemakers. However, it's our nature to be peacemakers because we are children of God. Jeremiah was writing and speaking to the people of God in exile. The letter that he sent to the exiles says something that they needed to pay attention to. They were wishing to have a different shalom, a different peace that they experienced when they were back home in Israel, in the land of the promise. However, they were listening to people that were promising them peace and a soon return to Israel. So people were, having these ideas and these feelings and these expectations that they will be back to Israel soon, and they were just deceiving themselves because God didn't intend that to happen, at least not right then when they were wishing that to happen. Then Jeremiah said to them something that was really remarkable. He said, build houses, get married, raise children, do what you need to do. But basically, verse 7 summarizes what they needed to do all the way through when they were there in Babylon. He said, also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. So if you can see, we pray for peace and we ask God that his peace, God's peace, could be manifest on earth. However, the prophet is also telling them you got to seek the peace, not only to pray for it, but you got to seek it. You got to look for it. You got to promote it. You got to nurture it. And sometimes we are praying for peace and basically forgetting that part of implementing that peace in prayer is also doing whatever we need to do. There are people that are experiencing great difficulties these days. They cannot find peace because they feel devastated by the coronavirus. They feel devastated by the racial tensions. They feel devastated by the very difficult time in the United States, the election time, and other countries too. And people feel that they don't find that peace. However, peace is a condition, it's an attitude, and it's a commitment. The prophet Jeremiah was telling them, if you wish to have the same peace that you used to have in Jerusalem, back in the city of peace, you gotta do the same thing that you were doing there. What is it? Well, you gotta build your houses, get married, have children, raise children, dream again, do whatever you have to do the same way that you were doing when you were back in your country. For those people who have experienced exile these days, people from Syria, Venezuela, other countries in the past like Colombia and Rwanda and other places, they feel devastated because they are not home. And sometimes it's really hard to find that peace, even if you are in a really good country, like any country that you could be, other than those countries that have been devastated by war, devastated by famine, devastated by political conflicts and other things. So I will encourage you today to rethink how you're feeling, rethink what is it that you're doing, and remember that the peace of God is the one that will transform you from the inside out. You are a child of God, and as such, you could embrace peace, nurture peace, promote peace. Peace needs action. It's just that sometimes we tend to think that it's magical. Peace is not magical. We have to really work intentionally, proactively, and also we have to work really hard to make sure peace is available and achievable for everyone. So like the exiles in Babylon, they were called to seek the peace and pray for the peace. So you got to do something about the peace, and you got to pray for the peace, and you got to pray for peace, and you got to do something about it. So it's like you are responding, you are answering to your own prayers. You pray to God to be successful in anything that you need to do regarding the peace of the city, the town, the state, the country where you are at. I encourage you today to remember that you are naturally oriented to peace by the grace of God. By the same peace that God has given you, that peace will empower you to promote God's peace and to promote peace everywhere. Shalom is not only a good feeling. Shalom is prosperity, wholeness, is the sense of having a purpose and provision and everything that you need to live a life that is worth of living. Like Paul says, and he said to the people of back then in the New Testament, he said, pray for people in power, for the rulers, for the emperor, for anybody who is in power, so that we can live in peace. I think it's important to remember that Paul was praying for Nero, that very difficult and cruel king back then, emperor actually. However, he was saying, we got to pray for him. We got to pray for peace. We got to pray for the city of Rome. We got to pray for the whole empire. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the rulings. What you need to do is to bring the same peace that God has given you everywhere you are. So I encourage you today to be that peacemaker in action. May the Lord bless you with more peace and more peace and more peace, and you be a promoter of peace. This is Dr. Alfredo Delgado speaking to you from Southern California. May the Lord keep you and bless you. Bye-bye.